Evening. I just got the astrological chart of the moment to put in the details of when this has started. A lot on my mind today. I have a lot of shit to balance that most people don't think one way or another of. You know, everyone picks their church, they pick their religion, they got their family, or they pick the one that fits them the best. It's not like that for me at all. You know, in a way, I don't belong anywhere to anyone, no place, and I belong to all of them, and apart from with as well. And personally, the Bible is really a touchy subject. Not touchy, it's complex. Because if somebody wrote up a scroll and cast a spell, and then you showed up, and then you're like, "What? They made me with this?" Well, then what? Well, what? I'm here. What do I do? What do you want me to do? Oh, but in the scroll itself, it tells some other story. Like I'm not actually here, but you use this to call me, and I'm supposed to fulfill these things, but it all means something else. But nobody knows what it means. But God did it, and now you're here. Now you can tell us what it all means, right? No, it's kind of complicated. Especially since the Holy Spirit works within each of us as individuals. So the way that one person answers a question and the way that another person answers a question, or what one way is to ask everyone to visualize something, or to predict what card is on top of this deck. Close your eyes, and everyone, then type in, especially if you type in what you think the top card on this deck is. Then what happens is the Holy Spirit speaks to each of those people, and if you know how to read the unwritten word, now you just got inside everybody's head, and you don't, and it doesn't even matter what they said. I mean, it does and it doesn't, because the Spirit speaks in two languages. There's one that's by the syntax parameter, uh, and based upon what they're echoing off of, the question they're answering, or where their mind was at, and then when they answer, then they give away something about themselves. And so, two people arguing about a passage, for instance, in the Bible, each person's words are the Holy Spirit speaking of something about them and about their belief and where their soul is sitting at. And but the two people think that they're arguing about the details about something, which from the objective point of view, if I were to come in and to look at the passage, I can tell you, well, so from it means this, and it means this, and it means this, and it means this. And depending upon, say, you're from this perspective, then it means this, and from over here, it means this. But the writers at the time, or from the past to the present, uh, have this other thing that whether they did it on purpose or not, this is what happened. This is why. And that's not something that's easy to explain. But that's the nature of God's divinity, of the Holy Spirit. But people killing each other over words, that's pretty fucking stupid because they don't know what the fuck they're doing and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And their spirit isn't very fucking strong if they have to raise arms and harm another body, especially if they're crying, if they're protecting their mama, because your mother has to do with your physical body. And so if you're beating up on another man, you don't respect your mother. You don't respect women. You're a disgrace before your own daughter. And that's why the language is put as all men are created equal, because the man is the mind. And if you've seen the image of Christ, he's the man in question. So everyone's seen the same guy. And each one gets him more or less as the same, because he's the smallest piece of consciousness that connects the mind and the body. Used to be called the mind spirit, until they gave him a name and such, and called it, and then made him the soul of the world, and then manifested him to show up. So anything that's against women's rights and whatever, technically, well, when you smoke a cigarette, yeah, you're beating on your mom. That's right. So that's where the woman part comes in, if we want to get down to details. So I have a lot of things that I have to think about, and how to proceed forward, being in a sense protected or imprisoned or whatever, however you want to look at it, puts me in a unique position. Because, for instance, those that call themselves chosen, for whatever reason, they're more accepted than I am anywhere. And they can fit in with people so easily. Which so can I. Well, I have been able to before I awoke. And then since then, I've been so protected that I'm lucky if I talk to more than 2 people in a day. And they're always the same people. And so I can see right through anybody's soul and read their spirit and all that. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's all about Sophie. Oh, look, I didn't mean to, but top card of the deck is our Universal Mother. Newt. Understanding. How far can you stand underneath of yourself? Could you really get down to this below the soles of your feet? I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to use those cards right now. So let's just see where the energy is tonight, in light of all that I've had to think about and absorb through the day. Feeling like, my entire life is just going to be me, the man in the iron mask, the guy trapped in the cage, and everybody knows who he is, and everyone denies who he is, and even if they agree, then, well, yep, there he is, like just a picture on the wall. Yep. Geez, I wonder what he'd say if I could talk to him. Wonder what his favorite food's like. Apparently nobody cares. I don't know. But if you're shunned as a chosen one, you could start a channel and you'll probably have 100 subscribers in a couple weeks. All you have to do is complain about your problems. It doesn't really matter. You can take it off at any tangent you want to. You'll be able to get more people than me really fast. That's how it is. Especially if you have really ridiculous and stupid things to say. Then you'll take off really quick. But who has more ridiculous things to say than I do? We're given the IRA and the hieroglyphics messages. Yeah, that's why we're here. We're trying to get some messages. Come on, Spirit, help us out here. So maybe there's some messages that are incoming from beyond just this table and me talking to myself and the collective, the greater collective out there. Yeah, I'll say the greater collective out there. Because most of the time when somebody's talking to me, they say the collective. But they're talking to themselves too. So, All right. Greater collective. If it wasn't for everyone else, I couldn't have got this far. But shit, where was everybody else? I do all the shit all by myself. And then look through the internet and books and shit of people that died hundreds of years ago to find all the pieces of our spiritual body that but we were already whole to begin with. But we were forced to do that because nobody would accept us anywhere we go. And if they did, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, come right on in," and then chop his head off. Leave him out in the cold. Make sure to call the churches. Make sure none of them that they're all closed when he walks by, and none of them will give him any food. You know, especially not that motherfucker. We want to see if he has a grudge against God or what? How can I have a grudge against myself? Are you shitting me? Higher self, lower self, subconscious self? Are you kidding? Of course I like doing drugs. It's the only time I can have my own mind talk to its own self and give me extra information rather than me just like staring at the wall going, oh, you know that pattern kind of looks like a All right, so give us some insight here, Holy Spirit. At the bottom we got our balance. Let's hope so. I'm the beam and the only body on it. And it's only on high. It's only got one setting. It's high. Man. So we got a cumulative 71 here. 20 and 51. The cross. Yeah, so it spells T. T. Yeah. Here we are. We're exchanging the T. Scorpio and Mercury retrograde. I know. This isn't a typical reading, right? I don't do typical readings. But this isn't even a typical reading for me. So I'm just balancing in this place of how the fuck do we get out of here? I can just come up with magical shit out of my ass. But I'm told, oh, I'm not allowed to move forward till something makes its way to get to me so that we can walk out together. I can't free myself because I'm both the lock and the key and the vault and the basket that everybody's trying to make shit into. I don't know. Fuck. Reinvention and I transform. That both came in reverse. Because how can I transform? I mean, I'm evolving every day. And what are we reinventing? The wheel? I mean, shit. I'm the spoke. This person. So how can we change the story? But we got to keep the story. I mean, we can't cut anybody out. Everyone's part of the story. Every culture is a part of the story. It's one world story. It has to come together. It already has came together. Under one roof, at one house, at one guy's place, right the fuck here. How do we be that together? How do we recreate what's already been created, but it was already divided and split up and against itself to begin with? These are my questions. In my life's purpose, is the things that I was called here, beckoned to earth, and subjected through a life of being an experiment and having a bunch of things that should not have happened to me. Like everybody has things like that, but mine are very specific and along one line of thinking to show that the consciousness of people in the world have some kind of that there's some kind of, it has to do with magic. It does. Otherwise, I would not be here able to speak as this person who I am in this moment with everything behind it and with it and for all and set apart. Anybody else in my position would hate people, would want to condemn certain groups. And at the same time, sometimes groups don't even realize the, the, the greater egregore of what the Holy Spirit is using them for. And so then I see the entity that they're under. And so when I speak of that, then they all go, oh, look, you know. And I'm like, oh, can't you see? I'm on your guys' side. I mean, I'm with everybody. So don't turn on me, okay? Don't turn on me. There's no reason. You might as well go get an ice pick and gouge both of your eyes out and see if that solves anything. Because there's no harm that could come to me that could benefit this planet. Unless it was a substance I chose to take on my own. And that has benefited the planet every time. If nothing else, it has elevated my understanding of the spiritual body of all people, of the world itself. So I exchanged my life, part of my life, in order to gain something back rather than when other people take things from me or beat me down, I don't get anything. I give compassion. I babysit. I take care of shit. I get left in the cold. I go without. To come and raise everybody as my child, as the mother. Just a little bit of my insight for the day. Because some of these things need to be spoken of. And everyone's allowed to believe whatever they want to believe. But when you know something and you've witnessed something, ain't nobody can't anybody convince you otherwise. You know definitively. You saw it. You were there. Everything. Unless somebody could prove to you that you weren't actually there and that was an implanted memory and prove like, you know, that, well, actually there was a gas line that broke and everybody was was on drugs, you know, or whatever, you know, like it'd take a lot to prove certain things are false. So then anything that's in the realm of, well, I believe, can bend the fate of the world and one's own fate at the same time is it's kind of irrelevant, sort of, but it's important to respect. What we got here? Get grounded. Right. We're working on that. I mean, how grounded can you get? I don't think anybody's been more grounded than me. And anybody's been higher than I have either. Mine's just connect with nature. You know, one thing I've always had for a long time is plants in my house. I haven't had I had a light that where all my plants were under the light, and then I had certain plants at certain windows I would move around depending on the seasons or whatever, and then my plants would always be well maintained and taken care of. But I had to leave all that behind, and then in my moves and whatever, my plants have been abused by people I've lived with, and most of them have been destroyed. And right now, my plant's just hanging on by a thread because that's how it is. So yeah, everything that I have and love is always raped and taken from me. The last time I ordered some tarot decks, the post office stole them from me and had record that they stole them from me from inside the post office. It would not, and made me and ran me in circles for exactly as many days as it took until I could not claim a refund on them. That's federally controlled. Same with how I lost my car. I was drugged and given a concussion and then sent on my way out the door. And then when I came to, my car was in the edge of a pond. And I had to march to the highway at 4 a.m. in the morning, and I called the sheriff's office in the morning and told them the situation. And what'd they do? They towed it to the next fucking town, 30 miles away. And they started they had a $300 bill on it immediately when there was a tow place right there in fucking town, like a mile and a half from that spot. Stole my camping supplies, so there was no way that I could camp out when they made sure that I didn't have a home to go to, and didn't let me know uh, that well, the sheriff illegally gave me something trying to evict me, and had somebody that wasn't even of the police department serve it to me, and had the landlord on his side, and the landlord wasn't even the landlord; he was working for another guy, proving that the whole thing was set up through the Christy Noam and Donald Trump in the first fucking place. And so, the law has greatly injured me and continually done so. And I am owed millions of dollars, if not at least $1 million, for what I've had to go through and all the fun that they've had. And yet, here's Donald. Don't you remember? Chris, see, they made a secret pact about me just so they could watch, so they could keep an eye on me and kick kick my ass around the can and make sure that I was filled up with drugs, but that nobody would arrest me, so they could steal my spiritual wealth, and then make sure that everywhere was barred for me and everything. Treated very specifically, differently than everyone else in society. Given COVID as a new cover so that they could do that for another 2-3 years. I'm owed a lot. If nothing else, I deserve my own fucking life. I deserve. I've earned. And I'm owed for things done against me. Oh, but what about the Biden laptop and his son? I got pardoned. Shit. You're gonna look at pardons? All that shit was set up against me and illegally stolen from me. I'm owed money. Not, oh, well, we'll give you pardon. I beg your pardon? As the most compassionate, understanding, and so-and-so guy in the world. Yeah, they made Trump and Christian Noem made that agreement uh, when Christian Noem um, had a figurine made of the four faces, and then had Donald Trump's face put on Mount Rushmore. And then what'd she do when all that COVID money came? She spent like $200,000 putting a fence up to keep everybody away from her as a fence. Is that a spiritual joke or what? Spend all her money for a fence? I don't know. There's some weird shit going on in the government and secret societies, and it all has to do with magic words and some bullshit and secret pacts, and it all has to do with a whole lot of money and a whole lot of power and a whole lot of people that just get to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And other people have to go to work and have to pay and suffer. And then those people get to claim how they're taking care of the state and they're taking care of the country and they're taking care of, yeah, our country, we have great agriculture. Yeah, let me show you the plants I got in my living room. Yeah, our country has the greatest stimulus. Yeah, let me go to my mom's house and see if I can bum a 20. Yeah, our country. You see, that's how the presidents talk. They're talking from one to one. The Everybody else isn't included in that conversation. They got some weird ass internal glasses that filters everything out. They have to talk about everything above and below and beside and before and after, and removed from ever having to be about anything that you think that they're talking about. They let everybody else sort that shit out. That's not their problem. They got paid just to sit through making that conversation, so they can go in the back, smoke their cigars, and do what they do. I mean, who the fuck knows? I mean, it's all based upon magic rituals and oaths on a book made by who? King James? No. 2,000 years worth of people that don't agree. All the way from the Jews, the Catholics, the Babylonians, Islam. Well, that's back at Ishmael, but supposedly, his mother was a Hindu, and so then they split the Hindus and Islam at the Hebrews. Like, holy fuck, are you shitting me? Everybody's swearing swear to God. Maybe we won't even play more cards. I guess I just need to get all this shit out. I'm tired of dealing with being in a box and deal with everybody's bullshit and not getting the rights that I deserve and having no way to balance the law. I mean, how do I get my shit back? Who's gonna get my cat back? When that was a direct attack upon Jesus and Sophia to teach somebody a lesson, because that person was so possessed by the devil that they thought that they had some righteousness to murder based upon they had a spell cast upon them because, well, yeah, their minds, they leaked all the nothing and they came up with the mind six and they laddered the mind within, yeah, and found out, oh fuck, God's real and I'm a fucking dumb shit. She just went in there and killed him, huh? Instead, I'm the dumbest person who ever fucking lived on the planet. And he said, well, if you just show up with $500 and like a man and tell me you did it, you'd be forgiven. Oh, see, can't even admit they're wrong. So what's a man? Ain't seen one yet. Unless I'm looking right here. Talking to me. The one that raises other men's kids. Allows everybody to run away and go wherever they choose to be. And all those kids wish they had me as their dad. Instead, their mothers didn't want that. Their mothers wanted absolute control. Because they're afraid to fall in love. Well, what if I can destroy everything right now? I can keep my kids in the dark. I can't let anybody fall in love. It'd just be too bad if anything went right. Oh man, it was going right when we got together. Oh, well, now I gotta start making it go wrong and try to get him upset and make it his fault. Okay. Didn't work, did it? Call themselves a mother. Mind it. Dumb dim your life to fit in. Speak truth. Everyone. Warrior woman. What is your calling? Speaking to my divine counterpart out there. As my man. But obviously she's female. Why are you dimming your light? Why are you so far away? What are you afraid of? You couldn't have anybody better to talk to. Anybody who you could trust more. What's taking you so long? You're only been thinking about it for 20 years, at least. I could use some representation since I'm an island to myself. Here's a couple of these cards. See what needs to be brought to the light. Babe. Fervor. Yeah. When you feel it, just call. Just run over. Just hop in that plane and head straight over. Don't check your phone. Don't wonder. Just show up. Fervor. Strike while the iron is glowing hot. Intense passionate feelings. Zeal for exuberance. Zeal and exuberance for a cause or subject. And with that, doubly so, we got solidarity. Because I'm not going to try to own or possess anybody I'm with, and they sure as hell ain't going to get anywhere trying to be like that to me. It's more like protecting a child, kind of, in a sense. The love between me and a partner is that child. If you build it, they'll come. Well, I mean, I don't know what else I could build. I mean, an iceberg that looks like the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean, all raised up with all the skeletons hanging off of it and everything. I already got that. Fortitude or strength, reliable structure, and substance and character. I'm sure my partner already knows who they are. At least everyone else knows who they are, or that, you know. We got adaptability and perceptivity to balance with these. A change is as good as a rest. Still getting over my cold. Adaptability is Aquarius. Perceptivity is Virgo and Aquarius. Adjusting to conditions, coping with change, employing new strategies. Well, that's what we're good at, apparently. And perceptivity. Things are not always as they seem. Yeah, I find that always to be the truth behind it. So whenever I get triggered by something, or vice versa, or I feel like I triggered something in someone else, I always also see, there's a fucking act going on here. It's putting on a freaking show. It's an act. If not on accident, on purpose. And I don't really act. I don't know anything to be much besides exactly who I am. And to tell exactly how I feel. If one's asking me. And if you want me to explain it, then you better carve out a little bit of time and lean back and get you something to drink and not interrupt. Astute observation of environment, keen insight, understanding, relevance. Well, waiting for someone to arrive. I've been waiting for a long time because I keep being blocked from making any actions to get out of my situation. And even if I try to change jobs or whatever, all those options are automatically blocked or refused except for the place that I'm made to be in. Like I'm being moved through the movie The Cell or whatever. And You only go from this room to that room when the door opens, and then you're trapped in that room until the time cylinder says you can go to this room. It's very frustrating. Just waiting around, but being the jewel for at least somebody. I mean, fuck. I feel like getting stoned. Then maybe I'll do another reading. They advise against it. And some people only read when they're stoned. And whatever. And we got the lovers here, man. But I don't know if it's my perception or whatever, but immediately after I smoke, I find that I don't look as sharp and clear. So, and then I get drier and stuffier. I mean, I'm sick right now, but, and so then I don't know, I try not to. I'm kind of hyped right now, like, I don't know, and almost like agitated, but not. And I kind of feel like that ringing in your ears after a loud noise. That's how I feel right now. I don't really know exactly the purpose of this reading other than the things that I discussed that were meant to be spoken of. For whatever purpose, and whoever sees them, it was meant to see it. And whether it serves that person today, whether it serves that person in 20 years, or what purpose it serves at all, I can't be the one to define it. So, here, give us 3 cards. End this reading with. Keep coming back to how do I take my radiance and I shine it upon others? Like, how do I hand it over to you and build you up? How I glow everyone else up? I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm giving right here. This is my spirit's revealing to me through this first, the sun in reverse. And I'm balancing the 7. My body is and mind right now are balancing. This is the 7 of cups in the mirror. And I walk through the mirror and get to where I'm going. Or to ladder the cards until it arrives. When it always comes to a point where, okay, now we're looking at each other, now we're listening to each other, now we're talking. But at the end of the night, I would put our phones down, just back to ourselves. And I told him this page of discs, carry around this fucking boulder. I got money. I got money. I got money. Shit. Does anybody have an exchange around here? An exchange rate? Could I turn this in for like 1,000,000 silver ones? Like, this is kind of heavy. Anybody could just come up and knock me in the back of the head and take it from me. That's all I got for right now. Maybe I'll be back after I'm in a little lighter mood. Yeah, I'm in a pretty good mood anyhow. Maybe it's just talking about the problems that I have to deal with. So, see you in that.